All right. Well, thank you for joining me tonight. It's another call that we do every Sunday night. I've switched the time to 8 p.m. based on the fact that I'd like to get to bed sooner, and it seems to fit some people's schedule. You can't really pick a good time, so just pick a time and shoot. And the theme or the topic for tonight's call is you are in control of every single thing you do. What you do, what you choose to do. Basically, you are the sole responsible person for everything that happens to you. A lot of these topics that come up usually are something that happened in my life, or I see it within the group, the community, that kind of thing. And I certainly try to touch base from a knowledge-based background or experience-based background. And tonight I wanted to start off kind of with someone who I listened to a little bit on YouTube. He is an excellent speaker. He's led the free world, as they so call it, before. So what I'm going to do is share my screen and just start there, and hopefully you guys can hear it. So 1 second here. So share that. Okay, perfect. Close that. And I'm just going to hit play here and go full screen.
My most important advice is worry more about what you want to do rather than what you want to be. This is actually, by the way, pretty good advice generally, not just for public service, because when I meet the if you look at the most successful business people, they are people who just love the thing they're doing.
Second one is that you've been lied to for a really long time.
Okay, so it's just a quick share there. But it's wise words from Mr. Obama, past President Obama. He's a really great speaker. And he just says there's very simply is to focus on what you want to do rather than what you want to be. I find that a lot of times when people do focus on that, they end up becoming kind of what they're doing. And the be part, or like who you want to be, just gets created. It's a mold that happens from the things that you want to do. And if you start doing the things that you actually want to do, then the best version of you would come out. I'm a true believer in that. So I think from this day forward, if this is your wake-up call, I think you need to be more in line with the decisions that you make represent the outcome versus things around you affect your outcome. We always try to push blame over to something else, like this is why this happened, or you're why that happened, or if I would have woke up sooner, or no, like it stops at you. Like, yes, set your alarm. Yes, get into your habits. Yes, you need to do the things that you actually want to do to see change come in your life. If you want to get healthy, well, if you don't do anything that's quote unquote healthy, how can you? Right? Like if you want to lose weight and you don't move more and eat less, how can you lose weight? If you continue doing the same things and just tell yourself you want to do that, like these are decisions that you need to make and you need to stick by and you need to be consistent with them. If you want to see more wealth in your bank account while you're spending all the time, it's impossible. Like the two things don't align. You need to take responsibility for everything that you do and everything that you want and start doing those things that start delivering what you want to see in your life. I definitely have times in my life that I've struggled to do this, and I sit there and be like, oh, this person did this, why did this happen, this and that. And lately I've done a lot of reflecting and always come back to, well, if I really wanted this to happen in my life, I would have done something differently, or I would have chosen, a different path or had a different conversation with the person. And at the end of the day, maybe I just didn't want that. If it's not here now, there's a good reason for it, and I take ownership for that. And then if I flip it over to maybe on the accomplishment side and like reaching for different successes in my life and stuff like that, I channeled recently in a stairwell, the United Way stair climb. If you're not familiar with it, it's 472 stairs up 25 flights. And we had done 12 hours of warming up 3,000 people prior to that, and thousands of squats, push-ups, like just tons of different things to keep the crowd moving and high energy. And I'm losing my voice, getting sick now, but at the same time, we still as a team had to climb those stairs because we signed up for something. And I got going up the stairs really fast and wanted to be at a certain time. And I've thought about what it takes to deliver the best results and the mindset of stuff like that going into it with different competitions. But I never felt what hit me on the 15th floor, where it was like, I just want to stop. I actually consciously said, I'm going to stop. I heard footsteps below. I kept looking to see if the person was close enough, and another person in my team, but I had a time and I had the timer in my other hand. And I'm like pulling myself up these stairs, and I hit the 15th floor. And I read a book previously, and it was Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And I literally listened to him again in my head. I listened to the chapter again where he was talking about how many pull-ups he did, and he did over 2,000 some odd pull-ups over a 24-hour period, which is ridiculous. And I just thought, this can't hurt me. It's literally 10 flights of stairs. It's not a lot. It's not at the magnitude of what David Goggins did, but at the same time, I was in that moment after doing thousands and thousands of reps, and my legs were shot, that I just said, I can do this, and I want to do this. And then whatever comes afterward is excellent, extra bonus, just because of the choice that I made. But if I stop there and quit there, I also would have to own what comes after that. So even though it's something so little, it was significant to me for me to complete that and get it done. And, I tried to beat under 4 minutes, but I didn't. I got 4:03, which is okay. And I'm totally cool with that because of all the stuff that happened prior to it. But the energy that kept coming from people saying, oh, I saw you there. I saw you doing that. You guys are great. We've never seen energy like that in this tent with that many people, fulfilled me, because my goal at the start of this year was to reach and coach and help and touch more people's lives. And that day I got a single opportunity to touch 3,000 plus people. At one point, there was over 300 people in the tent. And I made that conscious decision to say, yes, we're going to do this as a team. I tried to get as many people together that would come and help and be part of it, because I knew it was going to be great energy, and we had it. And it was just the coolest experience when you break it down. And I am fully responsible for taking that on. And I put myself in position to say yes. And it was one of those things that led to fulfillment based on something that I wanted to do. There was not one point in me in that day that just said, I don't want to do this anymore. There's many times where I said, I'm not sure if I can keep squatting and lunging because my legs were cramping in front of the crowd, and I was wearing a wig and headbang and my neck was tight, but I never said I didn't want to do it. And we kept going. So I think it's super important for you to keep that in mind. And what President Obama said there, focus on what you want to do instead of what you want to be. Because what you want to be is fine, but without any action, you'll never get to be that, right? If you always grew up thinking, well, I want to be a dad or a mom or something, but if you never got in a relationship to share that, then you would never become that. So there's lots of different things that we can be, lots of things that we say we'll be, but without the do part, without the action, you're not going to get it. You're basically not going to achieve anything that you want in life without action. So I really want to stress that you guys need to make action plans, start doing things you want to do. One way is not the right way all the time. Like, there's many different ways that you can do it. There's many different ways that you can, for me, I can swing my golf club a totally different way than anybody else and still hit it to the same spot and get it in the hole. That's the objective. So, like, what's the objective? What are the steps for you to take to get there? Your steps might be different than my steps, but if they get you there, then who's to say it's wrong? But take ownership of that. You're like, I'm going to try this. I'm going to do this to get there. And if it doesn't get me there, I'm going to now switch my lane and do something else to get me there. But it's that word, the do word. That's the best word that you can put into your vocabulary. I'm going to do this today. I'm going to do this tomorrow. I'm going to do this next week. I'm going to do this next month. And you keep setting these goals. And we always go back to those goal setting. You write them down on a piece of paper. So I'm going to write down these things on the piece of paper so that I can do them tomorrow, the next day, my most important task daily. Bring that do word into your vocabulary and try to take out, I don't know if I will, I'm not sure if I can. The vocabulary that you use to talk to yourself is very important when you are trying to do these things. So be mindful of that energy that you're going to bring, because if you can keep the energy up all day in a temperature that's minus, like, it was so cold in that tent, but we kept that energy up all day because we wanted to be there. You'd be amazed and surprised at what you can accomplish and where you'll end up, so that you can replan everything to get to the next level. And I want to stress that when you get to these next levels, celebrate it. Like, be mindful of where you are, reflect back, celebrate the wins. And you don't always have to go forward right away. Maybe you don't want to go forward anymore, and that's cool too. But just understand that you can take time, reflect. That's part of the doing as well, so that you can get to that next level. But like everything that's around you, you have to look at it and say, well, this is all because of me. I put myself here. I put myself in this house. I put myself in this position to own a business. I put myself in the position to potentially own another business coming up. Like, I'm choosing these things. They're not choosing me, right? So it's the ownership. It's taking pure ownership of everything that you do and then moving forward with that ownership, knowing that it's because of you, knowing that it's, yes, it has influence from other things and people and family members and your past and stuff like that. It's been ingrained in you, but there's ways that you can really take on ownership for every single thing that happens to you. And I guess along that, like, I'm just throwing things out here now, but along that, like, if you don't take ownership for the things that happen, or for the actions that, like, say you're building a team or something, and different things are happening that you don't want to happen, or it always happens if you're a leader and you're a boss, or you're somebody in a high level position or whatever, you have to look at it and be like, okay, well, this is because of me, instead of dwelling on, well, they did this, so I'm going to be sad, or I'm going to be upset, or what did I do wrong? I think it's more, you have to flip that and be like, okay, what am I going to do now? Instead of what did I do wrong? That's past tense. That's something that you can't change. Like, what are your controllables? What are something that, what's the thing that you control? What's in your hand that you can play? Like a card, if you hold your cards tight, which card are you going to play next? Because it gives you the ability to move forward, right? I think that that's very, very important. And I don't have a ton of other stuff to say on the topic, other than I challenge you to do more doing, right? Instead of thinking, instead of, oh, I'll try, maybe next week, maybe next month, like a lot of these maybes or tries and stuff like that. I challenge you to remove that from your life and do more doing. Does that make sense to you guys? I think we'll all be better off. I think you will be better off, more peace of mind, more sound, I guess, less stress in your life when you are in control. And at the end of the day, I think that's what we all want, is a little bit more control, but people always think they can't get it because it's out of our control. Well, it really isn't. I know there's things that we, I've said this before, that we have to do. We all have to do that. Like, we have to take the garbage out because the city says it's garbage day. But if we want less work, well, maybe we could do better and conserve. And there's lots of different things. Like my dad even today said, in his city, and this is a simple example, it was like, they're either going to charge taxes for the landfill, or they're going to increase the garbage bag tags, or they're going to do both. I said, well, get a composter so that you don't get dinged on both. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, if you don't have as many garbage bags, you're not paying the tag fee. You can't avoid the taxes because they're going to implement that whether you like it or not. But at least you can control the controllables. And it was such a simple example for him to learn that he can control his outcome just by making a simple switch. And then he ends up, the trickle down effect is, well, let's look at it. You don't have topsoil that you have to buy because you've created it, right? You don't have to go to the store and spend the gas to get that stuff. And you don't have to potentially wait for sales or anything like that. So what is your time worth? So all of these things happen because of proactive doing. And it's a very simple example. It applies to a lot of different things in life. You can choose this mindset and apply it to many different things in your life. So that's where I leave you. I don't have much else to say. It's a short call. It's only 20 minutes. It's great, quick, to the point. Do more doing and talk about it. Lead by example. The people around you, your family, if they see you doing, they're going to do too. Same with your community. Like for me, if I'm leading the community and I don't do what I say or tell them to do, if I'm not willing to walk and do what they are supposed to do, or I'm asking them to do, then they won't do it. So I'm going to do more doing. I'm going to do more of the things that I want to see in my life. And I think it's going to yield some great results. So anyways, that's all I have to say. I thank you guys for joining me tonight. I hope you view it, like it, share it, tag it, whatever you got to do, get it out there. I'm really just pushing to help more people. That's my mission. I want to help more people, whether it takes me tons of hours or not at all, like this call. Anything that I can do to help is where I'm at. So anyways, thanks for that. And you guys have a good night.